Hello and welcome to the Flix Forum podcast, where each episode we usually go back and we look at a Netflix original film in the order of release. However, today we have a special bonus episode where we are going to talk about a 2025 Netflix animated adventure comedy called In Your Dreams. This one is directed by Alex Wu and stars the voices of Craig Robinson, Simu Liu, Cristin Milioti, Jolie Hoang-Rappaport, Elias Janssen, Gia Carides, Omid, and SungWon. I'm Jesse, I'm your host. Thank you for joining me today for this special bonus episode. As always, with our Netflix original films, if you haven't seen this one yet and you're interested in checking it out, give us a pause and come back a little bit later on, because as we go, we are going to spoil this film and I don't want it to be ruined for you. So we do kick off the show with the Fast Flicks, where we do a quick little summary of what the film is all about. So this one's about a girl and her brother who travel into the world of dreams to keep their parents together. Ooh, interesting. Very good. This is Netflix starting to put out a few original animated films with their sort of collaboration with Sony Pictures Animation. So this is another one of those. But before we get into it, let's have a look at the translations for this one around the world. So as I mentioned, this is about going into the dream world. So in Chinese, it's called a daydream adventure. In German, it's called In Dreams, Anything is Possible. Nice. In Italian, In Your Dreams, Keep Dreaming. In Japanese, In Your Dreams, If Wishes Come True. So all playing on this idea of dreams. In Norwegian, Tonight We Dream. That's all right. In Polish, In the Land of Dreams. In Russian, it's called Only in a Dream, and in Ukrainian is the same. So, around the world, all the same titles. How did this end up on Netflix? This does have the tagline of the adventure of a nighttime instead of a lifetime. So obviously, this is about the kids going through night and having an adventure through dreamland. This is based on the European folklore tale of the Sandman, who sprinkles sand into the eyes of children to give them dreams. So that's where a lot of this lore in this film comes from. If we go to April of 2023, it was revealed that Eric Benson and Alex Wu would write the screenplay for the animated film In Your Dreams, which Netflix Animation would produce. Sony Pictures Imageworks would handle the animation, and the studio selected Benson as co-director and Wu as the creative lead for the movie. So this is almost like a co-directed production. In June of 2024, it was announced that Wu wrote the story with Stanley Moore. Dreams have always fascinated me, and a dream movie in the animated space has been a white whale, explained the director Alex Wu. Every animation studio in the world has had a dream movie in development at some point and over the last couple of decades, but none of them have ever been made because I don't think anyone could figure out how to give a dream movie stakes. When we started our company and we were dreaming up different movie ideas, when we cracked it, we were like, oh my gosh, we've got to make this. Wu said, I grew up on movies that told me if I wished hard enough, if I wanted something badly enough, that my dreams would come true. As I got older, I realized that sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's not. And I wanted to make a movie that explores the question, what do you do when your dreams don't come true? How do you find hope? How do you keep moving forward in life? How do you find a way through? And that's why I wanted so desperately to make it, he said. He also went on to say that he had a little brother, and Elliot, one of the characters in the film, the brother is based on him. I'm very much like Stevie, he said, the protagonist in the film. My brother and I had our epic battles throughout our childhood. I'm sort of the perfectionist, overbearing older sibling, and he's the carefree, fun-loving, charming little brother. A lot of this movie was about me trying to understand and appreciate him and his unique perspective of life, he said. One of my good friends, who knows me a little too well, saw the movie and said, you know, this film is just a circuitous way of you telling your brother that you love him. And I was like, I guess so. Making movies is easier than dealing with your feelings. It's also grounded in Wu's own childhood memories of his mum leaving the family for a little while to get her own space too. When considering how to honestly and sensitively portray two kids coming to terms with the fracturing of their family, the director said that he consulted two child psychologists. They showed them early versions of the movie, and Wu said they were pleased at how we didn't soften too many of the edges. Originally, the filmmakers wanted Ron Funches to be the voice of Baloney Tony. While he rejected the role due to the feeling that he had played the same character in the past too many times, he suggested to the filmmakers of his best friend Craig Robinson for the role, and that's where we got. So Craig Robinson based his voice performance of Baloney Tony on his favourite childhood toy. interesting quote, like, what was the toy and did the toy speak? I'm intrigued. In early production, originally, Paul Rubens was going to voice the Sandman, but he did unfortunately pass away in 2023, so it was then given to Omid Djalili. Netflix is so convinced that this film is going to be popular that a horse plushie of this character, Baloney Tony, has been created for real-life sale. And a bit like the most recent Netflix originals, some of the ones that we've covered on this show too, the Netflix title logo at the start of the film uses it in a different way. So the color stream from the Netflix colors sort of bounces around like a logo. That was cool. And this is also the first time I've seen the Netflix Animation Studios logo at the start. So that was pretty cool as well. All right, this did hit cinemas. It had a limited release across America from the 7th of November 2025 for a week before hitting Netflix worldwide on the 14th of November 2025. This has only been out for a few days, but what are the critics and audiences saying about this film? On Rotten Tomatoes, this sits at 87%. That's certified fresh. That's on 52 reviews. That's very good. There's not enough audience feedback there from Rotten Tomatoes. On IMDb, it's only got a bit over 1,000 ratings. Sits at a 6.5 out of 10. That is okay. Letterboxd, it's only got a bit under 3,000 ratings, sits at a 3.1 out of 5, and it's only been logged by 3,500 people. So again, on the low end of viewers. And Metacritic sits at a 59 out of 100 on 9 critic reviews. So on that traffic light system of green, yellow, and red, it sits at yellow in the middle. So interesting, sort of a mixed bag of responses for this film so far. But what are my early thoughts? What did I think of this film? I had a blast. What a blast. I had a really big emotional connection to this. I thought the ideas were so good throughout. It was visually stunning. This is an excellent film, so highly recommended from me. Let's get into the crux of the film. Let's talk about some of the characters. So as I sort of touched on throughout the opening, Stevie is our main protagonist. She is the, I guess, self-described fixer of all of her family's problems. She's loves organization. She likes cleanliness. She likes to maintain order, especially in their family unit. She strives to return to this perfect childhood, I guess, and the memories of this that she has in her mind. And her brother is anything but all of the above. And she's a little bit resentful towards him because he's ruined what she saw as the perfect world almost when he was born. And he's constantly annoying and they have to share a room and all those sorts of things. So Elliot then is that stereotypical super annoying younger brother. He likes farts, he likes poops, he likes magic tricks. And of course, when he wants his dreams to come true, it involves superficial things like jetpacks and six-packs and fists of dynamite and bits and pieces like that, unlike Stevie, whose dream is to have the family back together. Elliot is sort of removed from these feelings that Stevie has of this broken down family because of his youth, and I thought this was really done well throughout the film. The parents in the film, Mum, I think her name was Jen, she's given up on a music career. Her and the dad were in a band or gig together, and she's given it up because we know mums are realists, and if you can't do, then teach. Hey, she's a teacher, and she's taken an opportunity for money progression by interviewing at a new school, which is a fair way away from the family home. So this causes some distress. And then Dad on the other side, he's this laid-back musician who never seems to make any money and is awaiting the next breakout song or album, and things have to change for the family to progress, and that's something that he struggles with. The Sandman in this film is a Wizard of Oz-like character who gives dreams out to kids and to adults, and he plays this bigger-than-God almost character, and I won't say too much more about him. And the opposite of him is this character called Nightmare, who's there to create nightmares. That's pretty obvious as well. The last character, Baloney Tony. This is Elliot's snarky, stinky giraffe who holds more meaning to the sibling relationship between Elliot and Stevie than meets the eye. Stevie hid this toy behind the fridge to sort of get at Elliot at some stage, but in the dream sequences, it's discovered that he's there, and he holds this special bond between the two, and he represents running from your fears and overcoming that at times too. The director, Alexander Wu, this is the feature directing debut, but has done a lot of work for Netflix in the past because he's the writer and director of Corey Carson. I don't know if anyone's seen Corey Carson on Netflix. It's a preschool show about cars and trucks and fire engines and helicopters. My son absolutely loved this when he was a bit younger. There were all these little toot cars that he had, and it's interesting to see that he's come from a world of animation and been able to put together a feature film like this one as well. Those little toot Corey Carson toys, I think we sold them all on Facebook Marketplace, but they held a big part in our family's life for a couple of years. Let's get into the film. What are the scenes that worked? What didn't work in this film? There's lots that I enjoyed. There's a moment where, at the start, Stevie makes a big breakfast feast and tells her mum that dad made it, and then tells her dad that mum made it, to try and get them to be happy with each other. I thought that was super sweet. I really enjoyed that. I liked the fawning that Stevie does over this male teen worker at the bookshop. I thought it was funny, especially when he pops up as the mascot wearer at the pizza shop as well, and he was in a post-credit scene at the end too. Elliot's bed comes alive and it flies over the town through the streets. It was almost like this Aladdin on a carpet / bedknobs and broomsticks reference, which was really animated well. It was adventurous, and especially like it had humorous moments. There's a moment where they're going through the main street and there's a dog taking a leak on a light pole, and the dog's so shocked it turns around and just continues its urination on its human. That was quite funny. The breakfast town that they arrive to in the dream world, just this visual feast. There's a sausage dog that was quite funny, and the introduction of Baloney Tony with meat being thrown at Elliot and Stevie. I thought that was good too. And Tony Baloney's references to Stevie being called Joanne throughout the film, that was quite funny, especially at the end when the mum rocks up and Tony says, "Don't mess with Mrs. Joanne." I thought that was funny. And then the recognition at the end where he actually calls her Stevie, which is a nice tender moment too. The town of food turns on the kids, and Tony starts doing rainbow farts, and Elliot wakes up saying he had a nightmare in his pants. Very funny, quite humorous, quite juvenile humor, but I enjoyed that there as well. I liked the turtle, the white noise machine almost, that makes Elliot go to sleep. That was used as a plot device cleverly throughout. It's a Small World type ride, knockoff riverboat cruise with creepy characters there, like the pizza restaurant mascots, and Don't Jump by the Pussycat Dolls is playing. That was clever. Elliot having nightmares about his granny, scared of his granny. That was funny too. There's a montage of the kids in the dream. The kids are like dreaming, and it's like teeth falling out. They're on the gallows above a toaster. They're naked in the shops. The ocean overcoming with waves, dentists, all these clever little things that people have recurring dreams about. I thought that was a cool montage. The Sandman, first vision of him, he does this entrance song. I thought that was cool. Stevie's dream reveal of her and that teen worker and her having a secret crush on him and saving him from a burning building, and she freaks out that Elliot's going to tell someone that dream. I thought that was funny. The dream family world where the mum and the dad sing a song together. It's a montage going to the river or the creek and things like that. That was really nice. And I think it's an original song that was sung by the cast as well. So that's cool. Stevie, there's this little story of her trying to win a toy in that toy claw machine, and she didn't get one, and Elliot offers her Tony. This is when they're younger. I thought that was sweet and tied in Tony really well. Elliot jumps back into the dream world to try and save Stevie. She's in the hospital bed, and he has to face his grandma, and he kicks her, and then he gets eaten by a hot dog and gets farted out. That was all humorous. The dad then rocks up to the dream world, and Sandman sort of like, "How did you get here?" And he said, "I'm a dad with 2 kids. I'm always down to sleep." I thought that was great. And finally, I like the little anime cutaways throughout as well. They were nicely put in there as well, and sort of on par with what kids are enjoying at the moment. What didn't I like? This the Sandlings. So the Sandman has these little minion, and I'm going to use that word, these little helpers, and it was like the Despicable Me Minion ripoffs, I guess, but they're not that endearing. Especially, there's one called Chad, and he was meant to be funny. I don't know, they just didn't really add too much for me to that. So what are some themes? What are some ideas? What's the film trying to say? It says an awful lot in a short runtime. There's that impact of a fragmented parental relationship and what that can have on kids, and parents needing to not only acknowledge but understand their kids or their children's fears and worries as well, and breaking familiarity. That's super important. Change can be good because monetary concerns and doing what's best for the kids needs to be utmost priority at times as well. The siblings working together idea, the importance of family sticking together, but also facing reality and understanding that you can't fix everything. Escapism can only take you so far, and waking up from your dreams and facing things head on too, facing your fears, having courage, and nightmares too. They can help strengthen us in the same way that dreams can lead to inspiration. And dreams are the idea of the mind fixing real world problems as well, and goals and being blinded by your goals at times and not taking in what's around you and the circumstances, because life isn't perfect and neither are humans as well. So many nice things to take away from this film. What else did I take away from it? I think for Netflix, the year has been all about K-pop demon hunters. In the animation side of things. And I feel like this film, In Your Dreams, was probably going to be their best animated feature Oscar run, but it's probably been taken away a little bit because of the success of K-pop Demon Hunters. And I think that's probably because of the ability for Netflix to merchandise and franchise the crap out of this. This is out of control. And the idea of the music, I think the music is in K-pop Demon Hunters is what kids really love the most about it. So they've done a great job with that. But if we're talking about a film and we're talking about the enjoyment of a film, for me, this film here, In Your Dreams, is a much better film. In saying that too, it's got such a banger soundtrack that these old school songs, there's like the old school Sandman song, Metallica's version, you've got Sweet Dreams, you've got Don't You by the Pussycat Dolls, Hey Ya by Outkast, Hungry Eyes, all these classic songs that would have cost a fortune to get the rights to. So yes, this has got a great soundtrack too. It's a much better narrative story for me than K-pop Demon Hunters as well. And that's probably going to be controversial, but I think I had a really big connection with this film. Some questions, some pondering, some thoughts, some ideas to finish off. Like the idea, these kids, they must be exhausted. Like those dreamscapes where they're in dreams and they're meant to be asleep, but they're remembering everything. That would just be exhausting for me. French toast. This is obviously a family thing for these guys. Is it still a popular? My kids love French toast, so I'm intrigued to see that on the screen as well. I thought that was interesting too. A teenage girl, Stevie, and she shares a bedroom with her younger brother. Does this happen? Is this something that happens? Because I thought that was an interesting. Obviously, it helps with the plot of the film, but interesting little choice in the film. What do you do if your dreams don't come true? I think that's an important question that Stevie has to answer and come to terms with as well. And I think she does by the end of the film. I couldn't help but think that Tony was a rip-off of Donkey from Shrek. Just that wise, cracking character animal. He's probably a little bit more over the top than Donkey, and not as sweet as Donkey can be at times too. A lot of the stuff I read for this film is that this film is strictly for kids, and I couldn't disagree more. Yes, there's a lot of fart jokes. They landed for me in this one, and I also know that the people who made this film started at Pixar. A lot of the people they're in the creative team spent a lot of years at Pixar, but I think this is as close to a Pixar film that you're going to see outside of Pixar. This is accessible for adults. This has got those moments that adults will appreciate that kids won't get as well. So I think this crosses over. I really enjoyed that too. There's a moment where Stevie tells Elliot's got to do a book report, and they're looking for a book, and she says a book with pictures isn't a real book. I don't think that was fair. I don't think that's a really good message to share. Because if she's so intelligent and switched on, she'd know that good narratives can be told through pictures as well. And finally, you've got to look at Netflix animation films, almost the ones that we've looked at the last few years. We've had Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, we've had Chris Williams' The Sea Beast, we've had Henry Selick's Wendell and Wild, there was Troy Kwan and Nick Bruno's Nimona, remember? We've had The Mitchells vs. the Machines, K-pop Demon Hunters. These are some pretty good films. If you think about a film studio and putting out a bunch of good films, this is a good selection of films that Netflix probably isn't getting much recognition for in relation to animation standards. So to me, this film here, In Your Dreams, stands out amongst that bunch as well. So I'm super positive. Let's wrap this up. Let's give the film a rating out of 5. For me, I've got to put it out there. This is my favorite animated film of the year so far. And I know there's probably a lot I haven't seen yet. We're still waiting for Zootopia 2 as I'm recording this. But this is great. It's got great visuals, great messages. It's probably a little bit on the scary end for the real young kids, but it's such a wide appealing film. I'm giving this a 4.5 out of 5. This is an excellent film. Please watch it if you can. Please get on board and support it, because I think it deserves all the support it can get. We're on socials. We've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, and we have X, formerly known as Twitter. The question that I wanted to ask in relation to this film is, at the end of the film, and I've said spoilers already, but do the parents stay together? We see them all packing the truck, ready to go and start afresh. I'm intrigued because the director has obviously said that they tried doing the sad ending where the family doesn't stay together. They tried the happy one where they get back together and they're all happy, but they went this grey one instead. Left it open for interpretation. And I'm a hopeful person, so I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say even if it's for the kids, the parents are going to stay together and it's going to work out. So I hope the dad starts a new band and they have a multi-platinum selling album. That would be nice for the kids. Other than that, we have regular episodes on a Monday. They come out every single Monday. We have a back catalogue of over 475 Netflix original film episodes. So give us a listen if you can. Have a search. There might be a film that you've seen that you'd like to hear me talk about. Other than that, I'll see you Monday. Thanks as always for hanging out.